It is 3 p.m. here on the East Coast, noon time on the West Coast. Today is December 19th, 2016. I am the host of Sports Fusion News, Alex Fuse, and I want to say thank you to the Fuse Nation that is tuning in right now. I am joined right now by Dan Symboroski, ESPN writer. He talks baseball, NFL, WWE. Dan, I know the roadblock pay-per-view last night. I know you were watching a little bit of it. From what you saw, did you like the pay-per-view from what you saw, or what do you think about it so far?
Unfortunately, I haven't seen the whole thing yet.
Mm-hmm.
I had actually forgotten that it was on yesterday, and I turned it on about 9:30. So I caught the end of Flair Banks and the entirety of Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. I didn't see enough of the women's match to really have an opinion. I'll probably watch the rest tonight. I was pretty sad I missed the triple threat cruiserweight match.
Yeah.
That's definitely why I want to catch. I wasn't really happy about the whole, bringing out Seth Rollins thing because Roman Reigns, the crowd's so not into him as a face, and he kind of killed Rollins too. The crowd was so underwhelmed by what was going on. They really, after they had seen the reaction, then they should have had Rollins pedigree reigns after that, but that didn't happen, and we'll see where they go from here.
I was actually hoping to see a Reigns heel turn last night, because which is something. Because a lot of people have been calling for Reigns to turn heel because the fans love to boo Roman Reigns, so why not make him a heel and have you really hate him? Or maybe, if he did turn heel, maybe the fans would cheer him then. Who knows what the WWE crowd would do, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's a bad wrestler. He's a good worker. It's just his character is just so bland and uninteresting that people want to boo him, and they see that he's been pushed pretty aggressively, and they want to boo him. I mean, you don't always want to give the people what they want, but people really want this, and it would have been cool to see him actually turn heel, but we'll see. WWE does not seem to be into that.
Yeah. Well, also yesterday there was a lot of great NFL football games. The New England Patriots won. The Cowboys won. Now, Dan, coming into this NFL season, if you had a crystal ball and could see week 14 that we are in, or 15, what week are we in now?
We are in week 15.
Okay, week 15. Would you be surprised to see the Raiders, the Cowboys, the Patriots, Seahawks, Giants possibly getting into the playoffs?
The Raiders surprised me. I didn't think they'd be this good. I mean, the games have been close, so their point differential is not that great. But Derek Carr's been more than adequate. He's had a couple flat games, but he's been really good. I'm not surprised about the Patriots, obviously. The AFC South is about where we thought. The Packers are finally showing some life. So I'm not sure if it's the most shocking season. I think a lot of the teams we thought were terrible have been terrible. The Niners have been terrible. The Rams have been terrible. The Bears have been terrible. But it's fun to see how it plays out.
What about the Lions? The Lions are possibly they can make the playoffs too if they could. I doubt they're going to win in Dallas, and then maybe they'll play the Packers, right?
I don't have the schedule right in front of me. Let me actually open that up. Which week is which?
Yeah, because I think.
The Lions first, then the Packers. You're right.
So
it's tough for them, and I was kind of happy because my crappy fantasy team happened to have a lot of Lions on it this year, which has been moderately helpful.
Yeah. So now I know last week the Cowboys lost to the Giants again, and a lot of people were calling for Dak Prescott to sit on the bench this past week and have Tony Romo be the quarterback. Now, what do you have to say to fans? I doubt Cowboy fans, or a lot of them are saying that, but a lot of NFL fans are calling for Dak Prescott to sit on the bench this past week because the Cowboys lost against the Giants since he was a quarterback and Tony Romo stepped in his spot. Do you think Dak Prescott should have been sat down yesterday? I certainly don't think so. What about you?
I know. He's earned the job. I mean, he had 30 touchdowns yesterday, but he had like 4 incomplete passes the entire game. He was... And there's real questions about just throwing Romo back into the game. I mean, he's been a terrific player, especially in at times, but he's also a player that has a lot of injuries. And what they're going to look like if you bench Prescott now, you put Romo in, he gets injured, and then you're putting Prescott back in after just telling him, sorry, we're going to give the veteran his job back. I think Romo ought to be done in Dallas. And while it's sad always to see a player who's been an important part of the franchise to go out like that most players don't really get to go out on top. Babe Ruth didn't leave the Yankees on a high note. Joe Montana, his career did not end in San Francisco. It's just how it works out, and that's what the game of football is pretty brutal in that sense. Even more, much more than even baseball or basketball.
Now you brought in baseball, and it's of course the baseball off season now. The Yankees signed Aroldis Chapman to a 4-year deal, and also a few other teams, making some big off-season push towards some of the top guys. And now Edwin Encarnacion has not been signed yet. Where do you see him landing in the off-season in the next few months?
I think in the end, he might very well end up back in Toronto. I suspect that he kind of overestimated what his market was. He's a terrific hitter, but he's also a DH first base type in an off-season where there were several of those players. And teams aren't really looking for those guys in their mid-30s to the same extent. We're a much more baseball's a much more sabermetric world than it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it would be shocking if the AL home run leader and the NL home run leader, Mark Trumbo and Chris Carter, it would be shocking that those home run leaders would be free agents and be getting lukewarm interest in the market because baseball's advanced kind of beyond the Triple Crown stats. And Encarnacion's a really good hitter, but he's not someone you're going to pay 6 years, $120 million to. Cespedes is kind of that type, but Cespedes is a very good defensive left fielder, younger than Encarnacion, and even that, I don't think many teams were bidding against the Mets at that level. So he might have to have kind of a face-saving contract from the Blue Jays because they still need him.
Yeah, and we have seen, Toronto change in this offseason as well as the Yankees. They've lost Mark Teixeira and Alex Rodriguez. They're still paying A-Rod this year, but he's not on the team. So with this transition with the Yankees, they've also traded McCann as well. So Gary Sanchez is definitely going to be that starter catcher. Do you see the Yankees going after any starting pitching in the next few months before spring trading rolls around?
I think they'd like to. They're probably in the mix for Jose Quintana. But the tricky part is even freeing up some money in the payroll. This free agent market is absolutely terrible. Coming into the free agency back in November, I projected Jeremy Hellickson to have the best 5-year projection of any starting pitcher in free agency. And when Jeremy Hellickson is the elite pitcher in the free agent market, it's kind of a weak one. So the easiest way to get a top pitcher is to pay them a lot of money. But that's off the table. So the Yankees have to start thinking about trading prospects. And trading prospects is tricky because the Yankees do want to keep their payroll down. And to keep that payroll down, you need those guys. So they might not do anything major.
Okay, Dan, before we wrap up this Sports Fusion News episode, I want to ask you, what made you want to get into this career of sports broadcasting?
I'm not quite sure how it worked out. I was always a baseball fan. I was into numbers, and I figured out at an early age that I wasn't going to be a Major League Baseball player. I mean, I played in school, but I wasn't that good. So I got involved in the nascent internet community at the time, 20 years ago. Did a lot of work with people like Sean Foreman and Clay Davenport, Keith Woolner, because we all kind of were a clique in the mid-'90s, a lot of those stat hits that you still see around now. And as time got on, we became more and more respectable as baseball shifted, and then we all became employable. So I never really expected to be a baseball writer. It's obviously not an unpleasant development, but I do like working in media. I've consulted with teams, but working in media is a better fit for me than working for a team. So I'm quite happy with the way things have turned out.
Okay, Dan, I want to say thank you for coming on and taking the time to come on the Sports Fusion News episode.
Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time, Alex.
Yep, thank you. Okay, Fuse Nation, I'll be back here at 4 p.m. with a brand new Sports Fusion News episode. The Electoral College votes today. The electors, will Donald Trump officially become the president-elect of the United States? That's to be known. I think so. If he doesn't, this country, who knows what will happen. It's been a crazy election process. We'll find out what happens later tonight. 2 more Sports Fusion News episode today. Be sure to watch. See you later.